Hello the internet, and welcome to another CNRL Library Innovation Studio Home Workshop where we show you how to grow your own veggie patch. Today we're going to show you how to harvest zucchini, and we've got a great recipe as well if you happen to have a glut of zucchini, which can often happen. For this workshop you're going to need something to put your zucchini on once you've got them. You're also going to need a knife to harvest them. It's going to need to be a sharpish knife, so be careful. And you may also need some kind of gloves, and you might want long sleeves as well. Underneath the zucchini leaves, which you're likely to brush upon, are these little spines, the little hairs. And those little hairs, when they scratch you, they can irritate you. If you happen to have allergies like I have allergies, the irritation can be fairly severe. The only thing you can really do is wash it off with soap and water. Best thing is just to wear long sleeves and gloves so you don't get scratched in the first place. So here's the zucchini. This one's relatively small. There's a lot of flavour in there. When they go a nice dark green near the stem, you know they're ready for picking. They're going to have a good flavour in there, even if they are relatively small. So just get your knife and carefully cut through, not the vegetable itself, but the stalk that connects the vegetable to the plant. The big ones tend to lose their flavour a little bit, but they are good in some recipes like zucchini slice. But if you're just making a salad or something like that, all you do is cut it like I just did there, and great. There are some recipes for the flowers. I don't tend to eat them myself though. Okay, I'm in the kitchen. I've got changed out of my gardening clothes and I've washed my hands and I'm ready to start making the zucchini slice. For this workshop you will need zucchini, eggs, a large onion, self-raising flour, vegetable oil, grated cheese, now either balsamic vinegar or some bacon. And the equipment you're going to need is a grater, a sharp knife and chopping board, a cup measure, a mixing bowl and spoon, a greased lined baking tray, and a pair of scales, although I am going to give you cup measures as well. So we have to do a bit of prep work first. We need to grate our cheese if you haven't bought grated cheese. We need to chop our onion finely, and we also need to grate the zucchini. I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick with onions. There's an easy way to do it where it doesn't all slide off and fall about. So come in close and take a look at this. Okay, get your onion, just trim the very top of it off so you've got a little bit of a flat edge, and get rid of that woody bit. There we go, that can go in the chooks bowl or in our composting. Now with the hairy bit pointing up, cut straight down through it, like that. So you now have two halves of onion, both with the hairy root still attached. Now what you're going to do is you're going to peel off the outside, but you're going to keep the hair on. That's pretty easy to do. There we go, do that for both of them. Now what this is doing is this is holding your onion together. So when you start chopping, you're not going to need to grab it and squeeze it the whole time to stop the bits going everywhere. It's going to get held together. Watch this. So cut this quite finely. Easy peasy. Now, cut along this way so we get all the nice bits off, and when you get to the end, just take that away. So I'm not having to grip it particularly hard to stop things sliding away, I'm just keeping it in place. And this bit is holding all these pieces of onion together quite nicely. So even here, this is easy. There we go, now we can throw that bit away. Do that with the other half of your onion, or if we were doing a different recipe, you could just keep this in the fridge until it was needed. Now we need 375 grams of zucchini. So wash your zucchini, and if there's any yellow flowers, you need to pick those off. Don't chop the ends off, because you're going to hold onto those while you're grating. This is probably the biggest piece of work you have to do. Grate these zucchini, put them in a bowl, ready for later. Okay, I've used my cup measure. Turns out 375 grams of grated zucchini is 3 whole cups. Now we need 5 eggs. I have chickens at home, so my eggs have actually got a little bit of poo on them. If this happens to you, wash it off just before you crack it in. Don't wash your eggs beforehand and put them in the fridge, because eggs are porous, meaning they will absorb liquids. So if you've wiped the poo off with a wet towel, there will be some little remains on there, will get sucked into the egg and inside, and you don't want that in your food. However, if you do it at the very last second, before you actually crack them in, it won't have any chance to migrate from the outside to the inside of the shell. You don't have to get it all off. Anything that you can't wipe off isn't going to come off when you crack it anyway. There we go. And if you bought eggs from the store, this probably isn't going to be a problem for you, but you never know. There we go. 5 of those. Now put in 1 cup of self-raising flour. Must be self-raising. Straight onto the eggs. Then get a fork and whisk them together. Make sure all the flour is whisked in. and it should end up resembling a batter. There might be some small lumps in there, nothing too big, but all these little bubbles that you might be able to see, that's going to be okay. It's all going to work out when it cooks. Now it's time to either put in your bacon or ham, 200 grams of it, or a good splash of balsamic vinegar. You do not want to do both. The balsamic is instead of ham or bacon if you don't have any, or if you're vegetarian. And funnily enough, it tastes pretty much the same when you're finished. And then put in your zucchini and your onion and your cheese. And stir it all up. You can use the wooden spoon or you can just keep using this whisking fork. Lastly, put in 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. There we go. You want to use vegetable oil rather than olive oil. Olive oil has rather a strong flavour, but in a pinch you can probably get away with it. But vegetable oil for preference. There we go. It's going to look quite glossy now. Okay, get your mixture and pour into a greased and lined baking tin. That's going to go into a preheated oven at 170 degrees centigrade for half an hour or until the top goes golden. There we go. Nice and golden brown on top. Now, if you're going to serve this hot with vegetables and potatoes or a salad or my favourite mashed potatoes with baked beans, turn it out straight away into a chopping board so you can slice it up. If you're going to have it later on cold, again with a salad or something like that can go very nicely, turn it out into a wire tray to cool. And there we go, perfect zucchini slice. Great for when you have a glut of zucchinis or any time. We hope you enjoyed this gardening workshop. Please like, share and subscribe so you and others can join us on the next CNRL Library Innovation Studio online workshop. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the usual places at Innovation Stew or hashtag Innovation Stew. And check the Home Workshops page on innovationstew.com.au for extra resources. See you next time and happy gardening.